Imagine being asleep in your own home when your front door explodes inward. Flashbangs detonate, you're dragged out in handcuffs, your spouse is screaming, your child is crying, and then they realize they hit the wrong house. And when you try to hold them accountable, the government tells you, you can't sue us. That's not a movie, it's the true story behind Martin versus United States, a case that just went before the US Supreme Court and resulted in a 9-0 unanimous ruling that sends a message every citizen and gun owner needs to hear. Now, this case isn't directly about firearms, but it is about something even bigger, government accountability. It asks a simple question: if federal agents kick down the wrong door, can the family inside hold them accountable? Or does the government get to walk away untouched? Because if a mistake this severe can happen with no accountability, then none of our rights, including the Second Amendment, are truly protected. Here's what happened. In 2017, FBI agents in suburban Atlanta conducted a pre-dawn raid related to criminal gang activities. The lead agent used his personal GPS device instead of verified coordinates from the search warrant file. That mistake took them to the wrong house, the home of Katrina Martin, her boyfriend, and their 7-year-old son. The agent says his personal GPS took him to the correct house when he was conducting his pre-raid surveillance and identifying a staging area. So why did his personal GPS device take him to the wrong street and wrong house on the day of the warrant execution? No one knows this or can confirm it, since the agent threw away his GPS device not long after the raid. That's right in the opinion. So after the case agent uses his personal GPS, takes him to the wrong street, the wrong house, the case agent and the entire team failed to notice the street sign. They were on a completely different street, and failed to notice the house number on the mailbox. They were not at the correct numbered house, and no one noticed. They also failed to notice that a different vehicle, not one that belongs to anyone involved in the case, or one that was present during the pre-raid surveillance, was in the driveway upon arrival. So they saw this different vehicle and it didn't raise any red flags. And I have to tell you that if I arrived at a target location and there was a new vehicle there that we hadn't identified prior, I would be on high alert, because that would be highly suspicious. I want to know who that vehicle belongs to and why it was there and we never saw it before. Back to the story, agents, after all this, they breached the door, they tossed in flashbangs, they handcuffed everyone at gunpoint. Only after they searched the house and someone noticed mail on the coffee table had a different address and it didn't match the warrant. That's when they realized. So after being left with personal injuries, property damage, and I'm sure psychological damage from an early morning raid of their home, the Martins sued the government under the Federal Tort Claims Act, a law allowing citizens to hold the federal government liable for wrongful acts committed by its employees. But the FBI argued they were immune, citing two exceptions: the intentional tort exception and the discretionary function exception. And both the District Court and the 11th Circuit sided with the FBI. But the Supreme Court took up the case, and they didn't just disagree. They unanimously ruled against the government. In an opinion written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, the court held that the federal government is not automatically immune just because an agent's actions were tied to policy or discretion. The ruling clarified that liability under the FTCA must be judged by state law, meaning that if a private citizen will be held accountable for the same conduct, then so can a federal agent. The judgment of the 11th Circuit was vacated and the case was remanded or sent back for further proceedings consistent with the opinion. This resets the boundaries of federal power and reinforces that authority does not erase accountability. Let me share this from my years executing search warrants. When we planned an operation, there was no guesswork. Without getting into operational details, we had a long list of requirements involving multiple individuals and units. So the tactical team, your immediate supervisor, any other agency that's going to participate were involved. They had to conduct surveillance, confirm, and collaborate prior to any search warrant. The location had to be certain. We also had day of requirements to confirm yet again where we were all going and what we were doing. There was never any last minute guesswork. We had a briefing for updates right up until we executed the search warrant. I was never even close to hitting the wrong house. I'm not saying we never made mistakes, but when I was there executing search warrants and later supervising them, we had these checks and balances in place so this wouldn't happen. Because one wrong house isn't just a mistake, it's a violation of public trust. When those safeguards fail, innocent families pay the price. And that's exactly what happened here. I realize things may have come up at the last minute, but the agent that uses personal GPS to find the house should have realized they were at the wrong location from his prior advance and surveillance of the target house. Someone on that team, namely the case agent, should have identified the street they were on and the house number. If either didn't match, the warrant execution should not have happened. This Supreme Court decision reminds every agency procedure exists to protect both citizens and officers. Nationally, this decision strengthens every citizen's right to hold the government accountable. It limits how far discretion can be stretched to excuse reckless or unconstitutional conduct. Here in New Jersey, it hits close to home. We live under some of the strictest gun laws in the nation, and lawful gun owners are often treated with suspicion even when fully compliant. If a simple record error or miscommunication can lead to a raid and the government could claim immunity, that's not safety, that's fear. This ruling rebalances that scale, protecting not just the innocent, but the integrity of justice itself. The founders understood the danger of unchecked authority. That's why the Second Amendment exists, not for sport or recreation, but as a last safeguard against abuse of power. This Supreme Court decision isn't anti-law enforcement, it's pro-Constitution. It's a reminder that real professionals welcome accountability. Because when you wear the badge honorably, you know that accountability protects both the public and the mission. The Martin case doesn't just protect one family. It affirms that the Constitution still means something. As this case continues through the 11th Circuit, I'll keep tracking its progress and breaking down what it means for your rights nationally and right here in New Jersey. If you value accountability, if you value rule of law, and you believe in defending confidently, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, because informed citizens make a safer nation. And remember, defending confidently starts long before the fight. It starts with awareness.